Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make multiple relationship joins to the same table in Microsoft Access. Okay, this is one I get asked all the time. In fact, I've been asked it like 3 times in the past week by different people. And it has to do with assigning multiple values to a record that come from the same table. For example, let's say we've got our customer table, okay? And each customer is going to have separate employees that they deal with. Let's say they've got a service rep, they've got a sales rep, and they've got, I don't know, an instructor, all right? So different people at your organization that they deal with, and they all come from the same table, okay? So let's create an employee table real quick. So we'll have an employee ID. That'll be our auto number. All right, and then we'll just put employee name. Yeah, I know, first name, last name, social security, all that stuff. This is just an example table. Come on, give me a break. All right, employee T, primary key, sure. All right, we'll put a couple sample employees in here. All right, we got Joe, we got Sue, we got Kim, we got Jake, we got Sally, I don't know, whatever. All right, so we got some sample employees in here. Okay, now each customer can have 3 of those employees assigned to them. One for sales, one for service, and one for teaching, instructor, whatever. So let's go into the customer database. We need a place to put those employees in the customer table. Is this the best way to set this up? Not necessarily. Generally, you'd want to have another table because you'd want to have a many-to-many relationship here, right? You want to have it where every customer could have multiple employees and every employee could be inside of multiple customers. And with a junction table and a many-to-many relationship, you could have an unlimited number of employees assigned to each customer. But for beginners especially, this is a lot easier to comprehend, and lots of people build their databases this way. I've seen this a million times, so I'm going to show you how to deal with it. Usually this falls along my rule of 3, right? If you've watched any of my beginner lessons or my early expert lessons, I talk about if you've got less than 3 of something, sure, make multiple fields in your table. Phone numbers, addresses, whatever. You got 2 addresses, bill to, ship to, okay, fine. You can store those both in the customer T. You start getting to the point where you might need more than 3 of something, then you want to look at putting it in a related table. Phone numbers, for example. If you've only got home, work, cell, sure, fine. You start dealing with, someone who's got 10 phone numbers or 10 email addresses, that should be in a separate table. So here in the customer table, we're going to assign 3 different employees. All right, we got a sales rep ID. This will be a number. It's a foreign key, right, pointing to an employee ID, which is the auto number in that table. I cover this in a lot more detail, by the way, in my Access Expert lessons. Hint, hint. Let's say we got a service tech ID, right, number, and one more. We got an instructor ID. Maybe they got to come for classes. I don't know what you're selling. Maybe you're selling aircraft. Right? You got to come and learn how to fly, too. Someone services your plane. Someone sold you the plane. Someone teaches you how to fly the plane. Okay. Or no, I'm sorry, starships. We're doing starships. All right, so we're going to save that. Now, in the form, this is relatively easy to represent because we can just make combo boxes in here, right? Okay, come up here. We'll drop this guy down. Combo box, drop it there. Look up the values in a table or query. This is a relational combo box, by the way. If you've never done this before, I'll put a link down below to some videos I got that teach you how to do this. All right, what table or query provides the values for the box? Well, this will be our employee table next. Bring both of those fields in because remember, we need the ID to store it in the table, and the name is what gets displayed. Next. All right, what do you want to sort by? Name is fine. Next. All right, this is what it's going to look like when the box is opened up. That's what you want. The key column is hidden, right? That's the employee ID. That's hidden. Next. Now, where do you want to store this value? Well, we're going to do the sales rep first, so we're going to save this value in sales rep ID. Next. What label do you want? Sales rep. That's just a label, so it's English. And then finish. And there's your sales rep ID. We'll do a little format paint to get the colors. Boop. And then one thing that the wizard should do that it doesn't, that I wish it did, was ask you for a name for the box. I don't like combo 30, so sales rep combo. Okay? Now you can either repeat that process 3 times and do it for the other 2 employee types, or you can just copy this box and change a couple parameters. Watch this. Copy, paste, paste. See what I did there? Control C, Control V, Control V. Now I got 3 combo boxes that are identical, but this one is going to be for the service tech, if I could type today, and this one is going to be for the instructor. What do we have to change? Well, the data in the box is bound to a different field. That's the control source. So this one we're going to change to the service tech ID, and of course rename the box to service tech combo. And then this guy is going to be the instructor. So drop that down and pick instructor ID and change this to instructor combo. Save it. The data is the same as far as the list of values. Each one of these is getting its list of values from the employee table. That list doesn't change. What changes is the value you select, and that gets saved in the customer table. And now I can pick a sales rep of Jake, a service tech of Kim, and an instructor of Sue. And the next person can get, let's say they deal with Joe for everything. See? All right, so those values are saved. Now the tricky part is, how do we display this information in a report? This is where a lot of people get stuck. I get asked this all the time because it's easy to do in a form. And yeah, you could put combo boxes in a report, but no, they don't look right. No, just no. So how do we do that? Because if we do this just based on the customer table, all we get are these IDs. Here, let me show you real quick. Let's make a real quick customer report. All right, so we're going to go to Report Design, and we're going to double click here to bring up the properties, set the record source to customer table. Where are you? Right there, customer T. We can bring in some existing fields. All I want is the customer ID, first name, last name, and then their IDs for these guys down here. Okay, we're going to bring these over here. Boop, just like that, nice and simple. Okay, bring up the bottom of the detail section. Okay, let's save this as my customer R. And now if I give me a print preview, that's what I got. I got their IDs. But I want to see the names of their different employee reps here, right? So how do I do that? How do I bring that in there? Well, the trick is to use a query. We're going to bring in that employee table 3 times into the query. Okay, if you've never built any relational queries before, go watch my relationships video. It covers it in a lot more detail. I'll put a link down below. So we're going to go to Create, Query Design. We're going to bring in the customer table. Okay, now I want the customer ID, first name, last name, and any other fields you want. You want address, you want phone number on this report, bring all those fields into, or just bring in the star. But I'm just going to keep it simple and bring these 3 fields in. Okay, now I don't want the service rep ID. I want the service rep's name. Where do I get that? The employee table. So bring the employee table in. Okay, yeah, you can either bring it in from over here or you can drag it from the navigation pane. In fact, I'm going to close this. Okay, I have to make the relationship myself. Access doesn't see the relationship because the fields are named differently. So I'm going to take service or sales rep ID, click, drag, and drop it on employee ID, and that creates what's called an ad hoc relationship. Okay. Now if I bring an employee name and I run this, look at that. I got the employee name, but it's not employee name that I want it to say. I want it to say sales rep right here, right? So we're going to create an alias. Come to the beginning here and type in sales rep, like that, colon, employee name. And now that field will say sales rep, which is a lot more informative than just employee name. Okay, it's called an alias. Now I also want the service tech and the instructor, and here's the mistake a lot of people make, is they'll take service tech ID, click, drag, and drop that on the employee ID. Okay, now Access will try to form a relationship between this field and this field and that. And if you run it, you get Joe, because remember I did it with Joe. James Kirk has Joe for everything, so that's the only record where both of those are the same. But that's not the way you want to form that relationship. So delete that one, click delete. The key is to bring in the employee table again. Bring in another copy of it. Okay, so this is the employee table for the sales rep join. This will be the employee table for the service tech join. bring in employee name, and down here we're going to change it to service tech, colon. And now I get the proper values. See that? Okay. And now we'll do it a third time. Boop. Okay. Yes, and layout in here is important. Keep your stuff looking pretty, people. Okay. Instructor ID right there. Bring in employee name and instructor. And we run it, and everything looks beautiful. Okay. Now, let's save this as customer employee queue. I like to save my queries with the table names that are in there, and I try to keep everything singular if I can. I'm not always successful, but of course, the next question that always comes up is, what if you have a customer in here who has a sales rep assigned but doesn't have the other two assigned? All right, and the way this is structured right now is you won't see that. Each of these are what are called inner joins, so you have to have matching values in each of those tables. So the key here is to make these outer joins. So you double click and you say include all records from customer T and only those records from the employee T where the join feeds are equal. In other words, I want to see all of them and match up these where you can. And if you do that for all three of these guys, what you'll get is a list of all of your customers, and these will match up here if they can. And of course, you can use is null to say you got to see these and blah, 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 blah. There's lots of tricks you can do, and I cover lots and lots and lots more stuff like this in my Access Expert series, where we talk more about relationships and doing stuff like this and things with chemicals and moving parts and molecular structures and all that good stuff. I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is expert level material, which is good stuff. It's just short of programming, but it's good in-depth database stuff. But now that I have my query all set, okay, now I can build the report. So I can save this, close it. Let's go back to that report. You can either start the report over or just make a few minor modifications. Right click, design view. We have to change where you're getting your data from, right? Double click here. Instead of customer T, we want to get our data from that customer employee Q. That's the record source property. Okay, now these three fields are no longer in there, so we can delete them. Okay, and then we can add new fields now, and we can add our sales rep and our instructor and our service tech. I held down the shift key there. Click on the first one, shift, click on the last one, click and drag, boop. Okay, and now save it and print preview. And there you go. There's me with my three people. There's Jimmy Kirk with Joe. And everybody else who's got stuff in there. And you can make this look pretty and all that kind of. I spent lots and lots of time on pretty report design in my Access Expert classes too. So if you want to learn more cool stuff like this and you're past the beginner but you're not quite up into the developer programming level, that's what my Access Expert classes are for. 32 levels, 48 hours of lessons on relationships and referential integrity and a little bit of SQL and more with relationships and letter writing and mass email and all kinds of cool stuff. Order entry system, invoicing. All right, lots and lots of stuff covered in these lessons. I'm very proud of them. But this isn't that hard to clean up nicely. If you want to do something like this, you can do in your page header. I like to put the labels and stuff. I'll cut these out and stick them up here in the page header and then go across, right? First name, last name. And you could put these up there too, right? Cut, paste, and go sales rep, service tech, instructor. All right, since these are all in the same record in the database. All right, there's first name, last name. Maybe slide these over a little bit. All right, sales rep, service tech, instructor. Oh, don't go too far. Don't push this too far. Remember, you got to worry about your margins here. One thing that I like to do is I usually go with margins. I usually go with narrow margins, which I think I set my template default to. So you've got a 1/4 inch around the page. All right, so that means you got a 1/2 inch off the left and the right. So if you got an 8.5 sheet of paper, you got a 1/2 inch off of that. All right, which means you can come out to just shy of 8. If you don't go right on 8, go like a little bit shy of it, like 1 or 2 pips shy of it, and you should be okay. And different printers can cause different issues there too. There's all kinds of different weird stuff. I'm going to select all of these guys. We're going to go to format. We're going to align left. Whatever other formatting stuff you want to do in here. And save that. And then print preview. Okay, looks decent. Let's turn all these boxes off. Right, design view. Select all of them by clicking here in the label. Go to format. Go to shape outline and pick transparent. Save it and preview, and that looks pretty good. Put a line under the top maybe, right? Design view, make this a little bit bigger. Let's get a line out of here, right? Click and drag it across. Yeah, someone put in the comments on one of my videos, if you hold down the shift key, it keeps it straight, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, see, sometimes you got it. See, it comes in crazy like that. Yeah, and this is a trick I've known since the 90s, by the way. But thank you for sharing. I know I really do appreciate it when you guys, like, there we go. Yeah, you got to hold the shift key down before you click. And there. It keeps it nice and straight. I love when you guys, like, give me tips because sometimes I don't know them. Sometimes you guys, throw, like little... I learned a certain way, like, back in the early 90s when I first started working with Access. And the Microsoft guys have snuck little things in there like keyboard shortcuts and tricks that I don't know, and it blows my mind sometimes when a student says, you could do this, and I try and I'm like, whoa, when did they change, when did they add that? So it's really cool. So I thank you, that whoever commented on that holding the shift key down. Yeah, I've known that one for a while. I never do it though. It's one of those things where I know about it but I never use it myself. And these are English, so you can put your little spaces in here if you want to. This is what it's going to look like when it's printed out, so you want it to be pretty. Okay. Now let's save it. Oh, you can make this a different color if you want. If you got a color printer, make it like a light blue if you want to waste your ink. And print preview. And there you go. Looking better, right? And yes, all right, I know someone's going to ask me, how do you get rid of all the people with blanks if they have absolutely nothing in here? Well, let's go back to the report, or the query, excuse me. Come back over here. Design view. Okay, if you only want to see customers where they have at least one of these things, all right, we're going to set the criteria to is not null. Okay, now remember, it's and across or down. So if you want all three of those to not be null, then you'd go is not null, is not null. Now, when you run that, if any of those are null, you won't see any of them, right? And across. But if you go or down, move these down a row, okay, now you'll see anybody who's got at least one of them, right? This is not null, or this is not null, or this is not null, as opposed to all three of them being not null. Yeah, that takes a little getting used to, but that's how you do that. All right, now the only time they'll be hidden is if all three of those things are null. And again, I got videos on is null and all that stuff. I'll put links to all this stuff down below, folks. You can go watch that if you want to. Again, my Access Expert classes covers lots more of this. But there you go. There's your fast tip for today. I hope you learned something. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.